It's a program that's got a lot of tradition, a lot of history, through the years. And the attractive part on my end, looking into it, was a lot of the pieces are already set. The foundation's been laid. That's a tribute to Coach Rabbit, the previous coach, putting together a fine staff of assistant coaches, getting a great working relationship with the youth program. And now it's just up to me to come in and build on that, to work with everybody, communicate with all programs. I'm just excited to get started.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Over the last few years, Newton's had some great lower grades success on the freshman level. Coach Eric Billet's done a great job with them. Last year, 4 wins with basically sophomores and juniors. Just talk about how exciting it is to get a hold of these kids at this age.
Yes, absolutely. You got kids that have experience, at all levels, coming up from the youth program, coming up through the freshmen, have had some success, and then ultimately just adding to it. So football now, it seems it's becoming very important, and the administration here, led by Mr. Hashway as my athletic director, is committed to making Newton great. And I was excited just to have a chance to be a part of something like that.
You touched on before, the staff here, we kind of jokingly say is Lenape Valley North, when you have Dave Bell and Kyle Grimko and Chris Grant. These are guys you either coached with at North or played with at Lenape, or both. Your thoughts on joining those guys?
There's certainly that comfort level where we share similar philosophies, so the transition period is slim. Having those guys that I worked directly with Dave Bell, he'd been my offensive line coach for 4 years, and it all starts on the line. So having that person there to lead that and make sure we're on the same page is certainly a key. Chris Grant had coached with me at North Warren as well. I've been a lifelong family friend of him, so it's definitely going to be smooth. And Kyle had been a high school teammate of mine, so knowing them, having experiences with them certainly helps.
Obviously, with the familiarity with the coaching staff, but also Coach Rabbit had employed the Delaware wing tee, something you're a big fan of. Obviously, you'd used it at Lenape Valley as a player and at North Warren under Coach Smolin. So how important is that the kids kind of have the basic knowledge?
Absolutely. Coach Rabbit and I have gotten together the last 4 years. We've had scrimmages, our team against, his team, and just, having a great working relationship with him. We also attended the wing tee camp, both of our teams. So we were in constant communication, knowing that he had gotten it, gotten it going with the wing tee certainly makes it easy to come in. The kids have already, started to buy into it. And the thing that was most impressive with me was the youth program is implemented it at all levels. And knowing how these kids get brought up, from a young age, expecting and learning, the offense, and ultimately up to me to try to perfect it, it certainly was very appealing.
Now, this is a little different situation than North Warren. When you had to go to North, you had to kind of build from the bottom up, which you did a tremendous job. Just talk about the different challenges of taking over this as opposed to building a program from the bottom up.
Exactly. Thank you. Now their expectations here at Newton are certainly much higher than maybe you take over a winless program, that the pieces are there. There's been success at the youth program. And I think it's my job as the head coach of the program not to put too much pressure on the kids, to focus on the process. Everyone wants to talk about championships and getting there, but it's more about the process and doing things the right way, working hard, implementing a work ethic. And, it all starts with the head coach, and we filter it down amongst all the assistants. So I think that's my number one obstacle, so to say, because there's certainly a buzz here in the community, and, I'm excited to be a part of it. But I also have to, tone things down a little bit, take some of the pressure off these 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, focus on the process, and ultimately to get the kids to want to play for each other and not for themselves. So that's, you get that, you're going to have success. Hopefully it's, playing for state championships, but, we'll take that. The kids are ultimately playing for each other rather than themselves.
Talk about success. As you mentioned, you came into North Warren. They were winless a year before, and when you leave, qualifier for the states every year, challenging for state titles, winning a division. How satisfying is that what you guys accomplished?
Feel very proud about that, and it's a tribute to all the kids, who have bought in. We could come there with the greatest message in the world and surround myself with great assistant coaches who echo that message, but ultimately it comes down to the kids, and for them to buy in, for them to execute the way they did. I mean, I'm very proud of my time there. I feel like we've accomplished a lot. And, we've left some things there to build on. I'm confident that the program is much more appealing now than maybe it was back in '09. So real proud about that.
And how tough was it to say goodbye to those guys? Because they, like you said, to get them to buy in. When your first year, you were lucky to be suiting up 20 kids towards the end of the year, and the community bought in. How tough was that?
Absolutely. It's one of the most difficult things I've had to do, that I've done before. It's something you really can't prepare for it. You try to get some thoughts ready in your head before you're going to speak to somebody, and it's not the same when you got to look at those 15, 16, 17-year-old kids in the eyes, who'd worked so hard for us and continue to, and who had bought in, and to be able, have to do that, and that was tough.